you can think of the first part of Romans, especially the first 4 chapters, in some sense addressed primarily to Jewish Christians and to Jews. It says all will be judged by God, Jews and Gentiles alike. Those who sin apart from the law will be judged. Those who sin with the law will be judged. He says, do not boast of being a Jew, because the law was written on the heart of the Gentiles. But he says, what advantage does the Jewish person have? The Jews have been entrusted with God's oracles, with the covenant, with the revelation of the prophets. But all, Jew and Gentile alike, are under the power of sin. This, in a sense, is a remarkable understanding of Paul. It really comes out in Romans as it never had before. It's uniquely Pauline. So Paul takes the story that is told in Genesis of Adam and Eve, the first humans, sinning in the garden, which in Genesis is an account of why humans were expelled from the paradise, why humans suffer. And for Paul becomes a profound historical, theological concept. All humans have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. The Genesis account of Adam becomes for Paul central to the cosmic story of salvation. He speaks again of Abraham, the pivotal figure in Judaism. He was before the Torah and before circumcision. His faith, his trust in God made him righteous. He was the prototype of Jesus who sacrificed himself. And now it is Jesus who provides access to God, who will redeem mankind from the sin of Adam. In the second part of Romans, Paul talks about being a follower of Jesus, receiving the grace of God. Chapters 5 through 8 talk about baptism, initiating the believer sacramentally into the death and resurrection of Jesus as a salvation event. He speaks again of freedom and the fact that the Christian is liberated from the law and liberated from death. Like Luke in his genealogy that looks back to Adam, Paul looks back to Adam and says, sin came into the world through one man, and death came into the world because of the sins of Adam. But reconciliation will come through one man, Jesus, whose death is a victory over sin and over death. In part 3, you think of chapters 9 through 11, Paul talks about Israel, looking to the future in which Jews and Christians are reconciled in their trust in the Messiah. And finally, in the last chapters of Romans, Paul talks about ethics, about morality. It's crucial, these last chapters of Romans, because it's the only place where Paul truly talks in most general terms about what he thinks the Christian should be like. In 1 Corinthians, he says important things, but they're in answer to questions, in answer to problems. In the last chapters of Romans, Paul, here and here alone, expounds what he truly understands to be the message of Jesus, the teaching of Jesus. It connects very profoundly back to the Gospel of Matthew, back to the Sermon on the Mount. It is a new form of righteousness and fulfillment of the law. Do you remember the antitheses? Don't commit murder. I say to you, don't even get angry. Right? This internal transformation in fulfillment of the law. What is the highest commandment? Love your neighbor as yourself. Think about what that means, love. That's a very profound challenge. Does it mean be nice? No. Being nice and loving are different things. If you love, you will be nice. But you can be nice and not be loving. And Paul's final parts of the book of Romans carry forward this message. To be a Christian, he says, is to sacrifice the whole person. He says, this is the command, be transformed. For this, too, is centered on the concept of love. Now, as you read the book of Romans, appreciate that it is very difficult. Every Christian theological argument, in some sense, comes out of Paul, and specifically out of Romans. Augustine's reading of Romans will be crucial for Roman Catholic theology. Luther's reading of Romans will be essential for Protestant theology. Calvin's reading of Romans. The core concepts of Christian theology, grace, faith, works, justification or righteousness, atonement, salvation, are all packed into this letter. So as you read it and struggle with it, you're not the first to do so. This letter reached the city of Rome. And indeed, as we'll see on Thursday, Paul himself would reach the city of Rome. And, though he couldn't have known it at the time that he wrote the letter, he would, in fact, meet his death in the great city of Rome.